All right, welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all, and we are good rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? As y'all know, we are in 2021, and this is episode 21.
21.
Big up on ourself. So, guys, we're so excited, y'all. We have an amazing guest, our first guest on the podcast this year. Let's go, Faheem. Who do we got, bro?
That's right. First for 2021, we have owner and founder of SOS Custom Clothing. We got Trevor on the podcast.
Trevor.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Trevor. Like a horror movie. Trevor. What up, Trevor, man? So I see you, Trevor, in your little Canadian gear and your little basketball stuff. You know, I see you. So now you're actually
basketball never stops.
Yeah, I know you're a baller. Like you. So first of all, I know you're a diehard NBA fan, like basketball fan.
For sure.
Diehard. Is it from playing ball growing up on the court, or more watching a team and a game and saying like, "Yo, this is my team, my sport. I gotta get involved."
No, I played basketball growing up. I started out actually as a kid playing tennis. Just started out playing tennis, and then tennis started to get expensive, and I wasn't that good, and it was kind of an individual sport. Yeah, I'm not lying. Anyone that plays tennis, you know. And then I had a growth spurt where I got taller, and then they started to develop basketball courts in my area, and I would go and play with the guys and stuff like that, and the rest is history.
Oh wow, that's dope, man. Yeah.
Question: So you played tennis?
Yeah.
Who was at the time? Who was your favorite male tennis player?
Well, I'm kind of dating myself, but like guys like Agassi and stuff like that. And
okay, that's not a date. So it was always Agassi and Sampras, right?
Oh yeah, those guys.
So your team Agassi, you're saying?
I didn't really have a go-to guy, but I mean,
yeah.
I watched those guys play. Couple growing up for sure.
All right. What about on the female side? Women's tennis.
At the time, women's tennis wasn't as popular. Of course, now you have Venus and Serena Williams.
Right.
But yeah, at the time, women's tennis wasn't as popular. But it's funny enough, my coach used to tell the people that are developing in tennis,
right,
watch the women's tennis because it's just a little slower. Nothing against her. It's just the men's tennis was so fast. But if you're trying to learn the game,
right,
I think tell us like watch women's tennis just to learn it because it's just at a slower pace.
Right. Well, you mentioned Agassi. I mentioned Sampras. Around that same time would have been Steffi Graf.
Steffi Graf. Was it Steffi Graf, bro?
Steffi Graf. She was
a big
goat.
I didn't watch it as much. And honestly, I grew up in St. Kitts in the Caribbean, so I didn't have as much exposure to those channels as well.
Right.
Yo, talk about that, because in Trinidad, all we got was basketball games and only MJ games. Like literally in Trinidad, they barely showed any other sport. That or track. Of course, cricket. I'm gonna show you football, soccer, but other sports for him, barely saw that stuff in the Caribbean, man. Barely.
Hear that. Well, definitely, you're wearing the Team Canada drip right now. You're all about ball.
Yes.
So let's touch upon some East-West overview, get into the NBA real quick. So this is week 2 of the NBA, right, Nelly J?
Yeah, I think we're actually going to be on week 3.
It might be 3. It could start in like December. Yeah. Could be week
2 was the first day. So
we're going into. So by the time so we're going to be in the third week. Anything in the Eastern Conference that you guys want to mention? Actually, let me just go through the.
Go through the rankings, because I feel the Eastern is kind of like.
This is stronger this week.
It's definitely not as it usually is. I mean, it's stacked. It's really stacked. Really surprised this year. You got Philly
from the West.
What were you saying?
Oh, the West infiltrated the East.
The West infiltrated the East and the South.
Right.
No, real talk though. Like, first of all, the top 5 teams in the East, guys. Who would have thought it'd be the Sixers, then Magic, then Pacers, Celtics, and Knicks? Like the Nets are not even top 5.
So rounding out even after the Knicks, at 6 you have Cleveland, you have Milwaukee Bucks, and you have at 8 you have the Hawks. So far those are teams in the first few weeks that are in playoff position. Like you said, Philadelphia is not a team that we thought would be at this point, a number one team in the East. Wow, looks like those offseason moves they made, it's paying off.
And Doc Rivers, I mean, who'd have thought his impact? Because I mean, have y'all watched like Philly's like ball movement? I'm like, they look very in sync. Like that team looks very in sync together. Chemistry is phenomenal. The additions of Curry on that team, Tobias is balling. Like I'm just like, the team is good.
Can we talk about Tobias for a moment?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tobias better be balling because he's on a $200 million contract.
Right.
He's like top. I think I was looking at the list. He's like top 5 paid this year, and it's. I mean, no disrespect to him. He's a really good, solid player, and as you said, he better be balling because he's getting paid. Right this year.
He was also their choice instead of Jimmy Butler. So let me ask you, Trevor, real quick. In hindsight, here we are. Even though he's playing well, as you mentioned, Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
If you're Philadelphia, you had a chance of keeping Jimmy Butler. You letting go of Tobias Harris. Who are you keeping and who are you letting go?
Honestly, I would keep Tobias Harris because of his demeanor. Because Jimmy Butler is himself, and it works, but it doesn't always work for a lot of teams. If you have someone like Jimmy Butler's type of I guess demeanor with certain players, like maybe a Joel Embiid, it may not fit. The same thing when he was in Minnesota, and him and Karl Anthony Towns didn't really get along because his demeanor and the way that he plays kind of old school, hard nosed, and those guys just want to kind of have fun. So it could be that I would pick him based on the mesh with the team, not his skills. Like he's skilled. So you see what he did last year in the playoffs. He can score. He can do whatever it takes. No one thought Miami would have been in the finals last year. So Jimmy Butler, it was an integral piece of that on that team. But on Philly, maybe not. Another team, probably I would pick Jimmy over Tobias.
You see,
because chemistry is a major thing.
See, I'm different from you because I'm looking at playoffs. Tobias looks great now, but in the playoffs, what the hell is he going to do? I don't think Tobias is a playoff like juggernaut. Like I think you want Butler on your team for playoffs because in the playoffs, Jimmy will perform. He's consistent and his defense will lock you down and he will play offensively and he will also try to help his players get better. Like he took in rookies on his team that are now like being talked about as the top 10 players in the NBA. Like why is Tyler a top 10 player? Because of Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I think Tobias is, yes, he's a good player, but if I'm Philly, I would have kept Butler only because in the playoffs is where they struggle. And I think they need someone like that kind of leadership to make them want to play hard in the playoffs.
Yeah, as I said, Jimmy put them on the map last year in terms of all those guys. All those guys wouldn't have been where they are if it wasn't for Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler put them on the map in that sense. So, yeah, playoff time, Tobias Harris, maybe you want his consistency during the playoffs, and maybe you want someone like a Ben Simmons to step up and be that juggernaut versus because Ben Simmons is balling right now. So maybe you just need Tobias Harris to be consistent, do his thing, give you his regular stats, and have someone like Ben Simmons take the spotlight. Because maybe Tobias Harris is not really a guy to take the spotlight in playoff situations.
So I want to switch this real quick. We got the Knicks. They're the only team in this mix. Like Atlanta, I guess there's a bunch of new teams here, but in regards to the Knicks has been the biggest surprise so far. I know they're in the middle of the pack at 4-3, but it's a real surprise to see Julius Randle really finally for the first time in his career playing to his potential.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's honestly, I'm so happy for him. Like it's well overdue. Faheem, I remember a couple years ago, you brought up Randle, like, yo, look up for Randle from Time. And it's been like silent night with him. And I'm not sure what kicked his butt. Was it the bubble? Was it COVID? Was it the protest? I don't know what it did, but something like triggered his inner fire because he's playing with no hesitation. He's being aggressive, making the right calls. And that team, you can tell all the heckling that has been done against the Knicks for the last decade is now coming back. So, and I know, of course, Stephen A is very happy for the Knicks because, you know, he hated them for missing out on a couple key pickups. But, you know, I'm good to see like the Knicks look good. But like we said, it's early, right? It's early, but it's interesting to see that there's teams that didn't make the bubble that are actually balling out. It's like that extra 4 months of rest. They just come back with all this fire. And the teams that were in the bubble are like struggling in the East compared to the ones that weren't. So honestly, I can't wait to see like in next month how things will change. But if the Knicks keep it up, I think they'll be the number one shocker. Like you know, OKC last year was shocking to everyone. OKC. this year, I think the Knicks could be that shocking team that no one suspected to make it to the playoffs.
And that's the thing. Knicks had a trash record last year. Maybe he was just fed up losing, and he had the time because he didn't make it to the bubble to just work on his game. Some guys just never get enough time to focus on themselves and focus on practicing and putting up shots, all that stuff. So with him, maybe he's just like, yo, this year I'm in a position where the coach will give me the green light, and I'm fed up of losing, so I'm just gonna do what I know I can do. I've prepared myself, and let's get it. So it's working.
Sometimes with players, it's also about timing and developing and just your time coming. Perfect example would be Brandon Ingram. Ingram now is balling out, but you look at him when he first came to the Lakers, he had potential, but for the first year or two, it was kind of like, is he there? Is he not there? Here he is, like maybe 4 or 5 years in, and he's hit his stride. And I think the same thing with Julius Randle. Randle took him a while to get his feet wet. Now he's at the stage about 5th year where like he's comfortable in the league now, and I think he's ready to make a mark. So shout out to Julius Randle still. Going to the West.
Brandon Ingram is the perfect example of that. I haven't thought about it even before doing this. Is that I remember him when he got drafted. I remember when he went to the Lakers. I'm like, who is this guy? This skinny, lanky kid, looks scared.
Right.
He was with the team he was with. He wasn't really the main guy. Can he really play? They said he's good. He doesn't look that good. He looks like he needs to. I just say he's MAGA.
Right, of course.
He needs some ribs.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last 2 years, I'm like, yo, this guy's balling. Like,
right.
It's just you just see the growth and you see the improvement. And the thing with him, the most improvement I've seen is his shot. His shot is just consistent. Mm-hmm. You get a consistent jump shot in the NBA, you could take out any team because that consistency is just gonna hurt them.
So that's what you're saying also is not only does he have the shot, I think his whole game is complete. Like when he makes his moves to the bucket, there's no, he's got so much in the bag, like so many different ways to get to the hoop. And I think that's what's separating him from this younger pack. I think just the fact that not only is he confident, but he knows he has that KD-ish ability in him. So shout out to him.
A couple highlights with him do some vicious dunks, and like that wasn't him like first year.
Right.
He was probably too afraid or timid to do his dunks, but now he's just wanting getting it.
Right. Now in the West, same deal. West is kind of upside down, and we got the Lakers at top, Phoenix Suns 2, Clippers 3, Utah Jazz 4, New Orleans Pelicans 5, Golden State 6, Sacramento 7, and Portland at 8. The only team obviously looks like he does not belong in this group are the Sacramento Kings.
I'm like, the Kings, put that crown on.
I don't foresee them being
there. Like,
right.
What's happening?
Being a playoff team.
They're the Knicks in the West. They're balling though.
The Kings have a bunch of young kids that just don't go out and just run you down and don't care. They just play.
Right.
What's interesting too for me is honestly, are we shocked of the West? Because the Suns, they were 8-0 in the bubble. So they're coming off of a great bubble kind of performance. The Clippers, the Lakers, we expect that. The Pelicans, I mean, like Zion is back, right? Full effect. So they're balling. Warriors are well. Honestly, I think the West is very competitive. The Spurs and Blazers are 9th and 10th. I mean, the Portland will all make a comeback. So I'm curious to see, because this will change a lot. I think from 4th to 10th will change a lot back and forth throughout the entire year. Right. All those teams between 4th and 10th, to me, they're all equal to me. No one, like the Warriors are good, but they don't got Clay. If they had Clay, but without Clay, they're going to be in that mix-up. So I think the top 3 teams are correct. Like, I think the Suns deserve to be there. Actually, the Nuggets, I'm surprised they're not top 8 yet. But, of course, they'll make their push soon enough.
It's early.
But no, I think, honestly, guys, like, it's early, but there's a lot of strong teams that are coming out that no one suspected them that they'll be strong.
Let's quickly recognize what Steph did this week, being Player of the Week. That's 60+ point game he had.
62.
Step it less.
Effortless. New terminology upon the Good Rickies podcast.
Effortless. I got that from inside. I think it's inside the NBA. Kenny Smith always says it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, those guys are him and Shaq's effortless.
Yeah, no, I'll give it up. He's balling out, especially not having the tools around him. Now, mind you, it's regular season. Steph Curry has that type of game in him. I'm not really a believer of him in the playoffs. Tell you the truth, like in regards to him leading your team. And I know it sounds like, how many rings does he have? 3? He has 3 rings, right?
3 rings, yeah.
And I mean, when I say that, that's all everyone throws in my face. Oh, he's got 3 rings. And I say, yes, but he also has 0 finals MVPs, meaning in the finals, when your team won the game, you were nothing more than a complimentary player in that final series. So, and that's just a facts. That's just a facts. 0 for 3. You let Andre Iguodala outshine you in the finals. That's just facts. So,
but you know what? I think this is the year that Steph. I think if I'm Steph Curry, I'm going to use this year to prove all those doubters because like literally he's by himself. Like Draymond just got back like this week. So the first week and a half he didn't have, and I really think Draymond Green's leadership was important because you saw him talking to play. Hey, you go there. Like Draymond, it's like it's an orchestrator. Like so. I think having Draymond there to back him up is going to be vital to success because Draymond is that emotional leadership that you need, and Steph is more of that quiet leadership, right? So I think having Dre and him together, I think they'll definitely make it to the playoffs. How far will they go in the West? I'm not sure because the West is competitive. Now, I think Klay's injury, is it all year? I'm not sure. Is it like, okay, I think he's out for the year. Without Klay at all, they're not going to beat the Lakers. They're not going to beat.
No, forget to beat the Lakers. We're talking, are they going to get in the playoffs? Like realistically,
I think they will. Yes, I think so.
You think?
Well, with
Trevor,
they get in the scenarios, they could.
But Draymond, yes. If he stays healthy, I think so.
Trevor, you think so, Trevor?
With the new play-in scenarios where 7, 8, 9 or something could get a chance, the same way they did for the bubble last year.
Right.
They could.
Right.
Because Steph could just turn it on to get to that point when it's crunch time.
Okay, no, that's fair. I'm going with no.
I'm going with no. You're so cold towards Steph, bro. What do you do to you, Faheem? What's up with you and Steph, bro? It's like a light skin battle, a light skin battle here.
In Steph's defense, in terms about playoffs and Iguodala, I think it came down to a sizing thing. He's not that big, and he can't be that dominant in certain situations. He can shoot the lights out.
Of course.
Sometimes you need that big-bodied person like Draymond to push guys around and make shots. Sometimes Steph just kind of he just runs from everything and puts up the shots, and they go in. It's efficient, but during the playoffs, it's a slower game. So maybe that slower game doesn't suit him because if he's gonna spot up to shoot, they're gonna be on him. Right. So he has to slow it down. He's not a back up someone in the post and turn around and shoot type of guy. That's the thing. Right. So that benefits a guy like Draymond and LeBron in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So
I also sorry, just to cut you in, Faheem. I actually want to give you a shout out because out of all the teams in the West, you actually called this team out and no one even blinked. The Suns. How did you know the Suns would be this good for him? Because you before, I mean, but Faheem knew from beforehand that the Suns were going to be a contender. So how did you know that? What did you see in the Suns in the bubble and picking up Chris Paul that you thought, this team's going to be solid?
Well, we knew in the bubble they were like, the bubble was like Cinderella for that team. Really, they really shouldn't have been there, but the fairy dust just had them in there. They look like they're player away. Devin Booker, he's been certified, but he's never really had any help. So definitely once they got Chris Paul, it was just kind of obvious, you like Chris Paul, put him with Devin Booker. You have a sick backcourt. The team itself, even Ayton, like they're young, right? But especially watching Chris Paul with OKC, going to OKC, that to me, that was a no-brainer. So they will be in the playoffs this year. And dangerous in the playoffs, I think.
Yes.
Dangerous. I want to go to some quick Raptor talk real quick on the way out of this. Nelly J.
Okay, so the Raptors, guys, we saw this week that a lot of the players like Fred, Kyle Lowry pretty much admit that they fuck it. But they fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Like they admit to the fact that it's the core players. Something's wrong with them, and I'm curious to know what it is. Like, you know, Siakam got benched for some type of thing that he did. No one knows what he did, but he got benched for, I guess, breaking a rule. So Nick Nurse benched him. Something's up with this team. I don't know if it's an issue between them, but Fred did say that the rookies are doing well. The new players on the team are doing well. The issue is the core players. So that's Siakam, that's Norm, that's Fred, and that's Kyle Lowry. So, you know, I actually wanted to send them positive vibes because all I can do, like at this point, the team is garbage. The team is playing like trash. Let's be real. They're playing like actual trash. And I really wish that, and again, it's weird because they're good players. They're not bad. They're not a bad team, but they're playing like garbage. So I'm just hoping that with Fred and Kyle Lowry all on the same page, that they find a way to win. That's all I'm hoping for.
So right now the team is 1-5. So I'm at 1-5, still not worried. No panic buttons going off. The only thing, so as a team, as a collective, as a whole, I'm not worried because my expectations is not that this is a championship team. So, you know, realistically, we're 2 games out of a playoff spot. Let's not overreact here. Okay. But I do want to say the panic button is going off in regards to Pascal Siakam. I don't need to see another week to understand that we have him in a situation where he's clearly not comfortable. He's not a number one franchise leadership type of person. And I think the sooner as an organization, we figure out that he's not that guy. Either we make a move or we position ourselves to make a move in the future, but he's not that guy. Siakam, honestly, he's in my doghouse right now. I wish he'd do better, but I'm not seeing anything from him. He's the kind of player who would get 20 points and like 10 rebounds, and it just be a quiet, insignificant 20-10. And I know, like you say, 20 and 10, the number itself, it's good numbers, good work. But I'm just not seeing the play that's warranted a previous All-Star or previous second team NBA. It's not happening anymore. Those days are over.
But like what has changed though? Like it's the thing, right? At the end of the day, like right now, I think top 50 scorer, Kyle Lowry's in there, Fred is in there. Shockingly, the 2 Raptors that are top 50 in scoring right now in the NBA. But my question is, you know, how can Siakam go from a top 20 scorer to not even being top 50? And then, like, as you mentioned, Faheem, like, I'm not panicked, but the team's playing like trash. They're not playing good. Like, we know how they can play. When they're on point, they play really well. We've seen them play really well in moments in the games. But then, for some reason, there's parts in the game where there's turnovers, there's miscommunications, there's bad handoffs. Like, something's going on where mentally they're losing the game themselves. Like I don't think like they're being beaten by teams. I think they're losing the game before they get in the court. And my issue is that how can they come from this slump? Because right now they're obviously slumped right now. So how can his team find a way to win?
Trevor,
Trevor,
yes.
your thoughts, bro?
My perspective on this. No, the interesting thing about with NBA teams and that if you break it down, any team can beat any team at any given night. They just have, and you just have to make the most shots when this buzzer sounds. Like literally, I'm breaking it down and trying to make it simple. But you said another key thing, which I think it's what's happening. It's the mental. Once they fix the mental, they're gonna be fine. They can make the shots. They have guys that can score. They have the big guys and maybe need to do more. Honestly, Alex Len, he's tall and he's long, but I mean, he may need to. Maybe need to integrate him more or find someone more solid than him. Comparing him to like a Gasol, Gasol had a better basketball mentality and knowledge of the game. If you see clips of him, Gasol and LeBron making passes without even look like they've been playing together for years because they just know where the ball should be at a certain time. Like Alex Len is a young guy and he maybe just doesn't have that type of knowledge, that passing ability, that mental side of the game. Like a lot of teams that are winning and have won in the past. It's the mental side that has been the key. So Raptors need to correct it, and if they can't correct it, talk about Pascal Siakam. It's mental for him as well. Mentally, he needs to just stop worrying about everything and just make your shots, and that kind of comes on to the bottom of it. If they can,
so I think we're on the same page with that. I think we're on the same page where with Pascal, it's mental. That's fine. If we acknowledge and we say, hey, you know what, it's a mental block he's in. We have to look now, saying going forward, does he get over this mental block, or is it something that's going to continue to hinder him?
Something's got to give, yeah.
Do you think so? Are you optimistic he's going to get over this mental block, or do you think he's not going forward?
Honestly, what pops into my head right now is that there's a lot of pressure that has been put on him.
Right.
And I don't know if he can come back from it. I'm not saying he's done and he's going to be the worst player in the NBA, but when we signed Kawhi, and this is a true story, there was someone at my work when we signed Kawhi, and I'm like, I told them, like, we have a chance this year. And then when we won, they're like, Trevor, remember that time when you said when we signed Kawhi, we have a chance this year? Because a lot of people didn't know who Kawhi was, and they didn't know the quality of player he was and the type of mental juggernaut he is, that what he brought to the team. People didn't know because, exposure to Western games and stuff like that. An example of the type of mental game knowledge that Kawhi has, I don't know if you see it early in the season when we first got him, I saw it 6 in my mind. He intercepted a pass without looking. And they asked him, did you see it? And he said, no, I didn't see it. I just knew that the ball was going to be there at that time. And you're like, whoa. You can't, that's knowledge, and just, it's certain things where they always talk about how young Siakam, he just started to play basketball and all that stuff. It's just the mental side of it is a lot of people don't really talk about it, but it is key when there's certain situations where you need to win. Like there's times when people talk about LeBron where he would call out 5-6 plays that happen with 3 minutes in the quarter. Like the way LeBron recites certain games is just on a different level to someone like a Siakam.
Right. Yeah. Nelly J, you think in the future he's going to get over it, or do you think he's going to be stuck in this place? Real quick.
I think he will get over it, but the question is, will it be too late? That's the question. I think he'll get over it. I really hope that people around him are making him talk to like an actual mental coach. Like we mentioned before, mental coaches are important. Talking to a therapist to just help him, because again, it could be anxiety. Anxiety can enable you, Faheem, from even thinking. Even though like you can play a sport all your like really well, anxiety can cause a lot of disruption in your physical ability, from your head to your physical ability, right? So for me, I think he will get through it, but will it be too late for the Raptors to make it to the playoffs? That's the question. The timing of when he gets through it.
I think he doesn't get through it. I think he had his time, and the game keeps moving. A lot of young players, he's just going to be left behind. But we'll see how this plays out. Hold me to it.
That's the thing. Are the Raptors going to wait for him? And are they going to take the pressure off of him and adjust so he doesn't feel all that pressure? Or are the Raptors just going to find someone else that will just has that mental?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, I think we don't really, we have a few options, but having Kyle Lowry on the books is kind of maybe not allowing us to make that move, because we really have to wait till Kyle Lowry comes out the books, that contract, and then we could say to get that Siakam contract type, that's when we can get him. We can't have that and have Lowry paying Siakam, all these guys. We have to wait for things to free up. But I think it's over. I think we just have to see him who he is. He's maybe a third so I can't even call him a third option because he was a second option. Well, was he a second option last year? Real quick on the way out, was he a second option last year in our championship run? It was Kawhi and who?
In a championship run, he was third option in that run, I would think.
So who was our second?
Our second, I would say, is Kyle or Fred, depending on the game.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm just saying, keep in mind Siakam and Kawhi set NBA Finals record, or they're up there in regards to points between them. Like Pascal did hit jobs. So anyway, the reason why I bring that up is this: he's not a franchise guy. He's maybe a second or third option on a good team, and we have to acknowledge who he is and work around that.
Agreed.
And you talk about the Kawhi thing. Maybe he was that good because Kawhi was getting all the attention.
Right.
He was getting doubled. Right, exactly. Like when everyone's focusing on Kawhi because he's a huge presence on the offense.
Pressure. Yeah, no pressure on him.
No pressure, which kind of brings us to like remember KD, Russ, and then you had Harden coming off the bench sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Harden was able to do what he did because he came off the bench and there was no pressure on him coming off the bench, right? So, yeah, good points all around. Nelly J, let's go to For the Culture.
For the culture, we'd like to highlight people and organizations that are for the culture. So there was 2 on deck. The first one will be just a quick little comment. We saw today that LeBron tweeted, I think I'm going to put together an ownership group for the dream. Who's in ? Hashtag Black Lives Matter fist up. So a little background. Kelly Loeffler, I don't know her name correctly. No, I enunciate names wrong, Faheem, so don't get me. But as everyone saw, she lost the election as senator for Georgia.
She's a Republican.
She's also a part owner of of Dream, which is Atlanta WNBA team. Mm-hmm. Now, that team has also spoken out against how they're not comfortable with having her as part of their ownership group. So LeBron wanting to purchase this team is to take back the culture. Because again, we know basketball and that sport is for the culture. And so LeBron is making a stand saying, you know what, if you're not for us, then why should you profit off of our people and our, organization? So what's your guys' thoughts on LeBron's statement today? On him thinking about, purchasing this team. Trevor, you go first, bro.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, in my thoughts on that is an interesting perspective where it's good what he wants to do. And if I'm not mistaken, recently Master P and someone else wanted to do
Baron Davis
wanted to do the same thing with Reebok to make Reebok black owned. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting move that he wants to make, and if he gets the right partners in place, it's funny. I always go back to a quote that I saw from Puffy this year, where Sean Combs or P Diddy was saying that there's a lot of opportunity out there that he has been passed on himself. He's talking about him. He talked about himself on like Oprah and everyone, but there's a lot of opportunities that have been passed. He's been passed on because it's him, and he could have been so much more. But when you get down to it, maybe politics and just the nature of the world, sometimes they don't want certain people to be in a certain position. It's unfortunate, and it's good that LeBron is making that call out to see if he can get the right parties involved. Because I mean, if you look at the situation, someone like a Tyler Perry, and I actually couldn't quote Tyler Perry as well. Tyler Perry was, of course, everyone knows he's homeless, and now he's technically a billionaire. But what he said it on interviews or on a TV show as well, where he's like, I don't care what people think. I just go out and do what I want, and to have that drive and to be able to be successful is good. But it's also there's a lot of factors in play where you can want to do that, but is the system gonna allow you to do that? Mm-hmm. You can say it, but behind the scenes there may be a lot of things that prevent you. I mean, if they can get it done, it's amazing. It's good. It's definitely progress. But at the same time, I just remember PDD saying like that. Just he wanted to do so much more. He could be at such a different level in terms of where he is in terms of earnings and income and ownership. Mm-hmm. And I know he tried to own a team back in the day too, and he did.
I remember that way back in the day.
He talked about ownership of NFL team a long time ago, but what happened to that?
Right. So to piggyback off what you're saying, the team he was looking to own, I'm pretty sure it was the Carolina Panthers. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, Faheem.
So yes. I hear the Panthers or the Jaguars, but I think it's the Panthers.
No, that's cool. So with Diddy, I'm definitely gonna piggyback off that. Diddy came in, wanted to. First of all, he's got Revolt. He's got like Diddy. He's been a businessman from day one with Bad Boy Record coming all the way down. Like we know what Diddy's about, right?
Yeah.
But with LeBron, sorry, what I wanted to say with LeBron was LeBron. He's looking to purchase, or not even. Sorry, this is all, mind you. I'm saying he's looking to, but he hasn't really said, and it's just kind of something he's thrown out there.
Yes,
So it's proposed, just
it's Twitter tweet.
right, just a tweet. So we're not going to hold him to it if it doesn't
Yes.
happen, right? But the Atlanta Dream WNBA team, it's a league that's not looking to expand. So him looking to purchase a team, I looked into how much a team was, and how much do you think a team is, ballpark?
WNBA?
Yeah.
Like 20 million?
That's
Trevor,
too low. 20 million would seem low for a WNBA franchise. I would say in the hundreds of millions, because NBA teams.
No, okay, I'll stop you. No.
Well, remember, it's WNBA though, so they have less.
WNBA, and mind you, this is rough estimate. I just kind of looked at it. Seems to be consistent at 10 million.
It was at 10,000. I'm like, what? I should buy a team tomorrow. Let me go buy a team now for you.
No, that's a franchise player, actually. Sorry. So shots. No, but it's about $10 million to get a franchise. So at my calculations, it would be nothing for LeBron to just buy the league. You know what I'm saying?
He said
just
buy
take over the whole league.
But is that the solution? Because they talked about it last year, and they came highlighted in the bubble, is that the pay equality, like the amounts that a guy like those guys that are getting $200 million contracts is a drop in the bucket if you compare it to all the WNBA contracts. I don't know what the numbers are, but say you have a guy, I'll pick on Tobias Harris, great guy, consistent, get your money. He's making $200 million, but maybe all the WNBA players combined are making $200 million.
Of course not, right?
Yeah.
But
Some
then
of them, their salaries are just significantly lower. So the team's value as well. You look at the team's value, but you look at, is the team going to make back that revenue? Because LeBron's a businessman. He's not gonna. He might not bleed all of his millions into a team that is not going to make the revenue, especially in the situation we are in the world right now. So,
but you know what? But I will say though, Atlanta is blackity black. Okay. So I think if he was to own a team in Atlanta and LeBron's name's behind that team, I think that's the kind of branding they need to get people in the seats, right? But remember, it's COVID. So most of these teams make money off of, bums and seats, right? Seats being filled.
I'm a Raptors season seat holder. I'm probably a season seat holder for close to 10 years. When that arena is full, there's a lot of money being made because I'm paying $20 for a popcorn.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's true.
But see how you mentioned revenue. So the WNBA, a big part of revenue is getting butts in the seats watching games,
which they've struggled from day one.
Right. So, I mean, when we're talking about pay quality and we talk about Tobias Harris, when people come to watch Tobias Harris play, he's playing for an organization that can afford to pay them because they have people and interest in the seats. For WNBA, if people aren't showing up to your games, there's no interest, you can't expect to be paid the same amount as someone who is.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just the facts.
I agree with you, Faheem. Like as a woman, I think they're getting underpaid because to me personally, some are getting paid $50,000. $50,000. Like, how can a woman how can she perfect her craft by being paid $50K? Right? End of the day, as you the better the pay, the better the product and quality of play you're gonna see, right? So I truly believe if you pay players better, right, or pay players more money, you get a better product.
So I have to ask this then.
But again, I'm not saying pay them more as NBA, but I'm saying pay them at least a minimum. I think at least $80K US.
So I have a question. So according to what you're saying, so if you doubled their salary, right? Like doubled their salary, do you think next season you're gonna have a better product on the court because you've doubled their salary? I don't think so.
Actually, I will argue and say because right now a lot of players do not get to a lot of them have to work other jobs to maintain it. So I'm saying, right? If I can commit 60 hours to basketball every week, I will be a better basketball player. That's just math, right? Correlation. So if I can only commit 20 hours a week because I got to work another job because what I'm getting paid up is enough, my skill set will not increase as much because I cannot commit as much hours. Remember, as you saw, Russell Wilson, he puts $1 million minimum on his body alone, right? So it just tells you how much maintaining quality, your body is important, especially when it comes to being an athlete. So yes, I do believe if they were to pay NBA players, WNBA players more money, I think we're going to see better, like more improved athletes and a better product. Absolutely, for sure.
But these players that have to get other jobs, a lot of these players are getting other jobs in basketball, like playing basketball overseas.
I know, but not all of them, though. But yes, most of them do. But remember, if you have children, if you have a family, it's hard for you to pick up and go to Europe, right? Not everyone is just a single woman playing ball, right? You have responsibility, you get pregnant. Not even mat leave is covered in WNBA that well. You know what I'm saying? So remember, as a woman, we have a lot of factors that we're dealing with than what men deal with, right? So all I'm saying is that listen, for me, when I was coming up in the world, getting paid bare minimum, like it's a struggle, and like mentally you're just stressed out, you're not sure how to work and whatever. If you're mentally not struggling when it comes to finances, that you can focus on your craft and what you love, you'll see it's going to outpour in their veins how much they're, because even in business, right? I mean, you with owners, right? If your staff is happy, it shows that like products get better and people who are creative get better as well, right? Because staff is happy. So a happy staff is a happy product line. And I just think that if they, again, I'm not saying to pay them double. I'm saying if they increase somewhat of their pay so that they're comfortable. Remember, also depends where they live. If I'm in LA, getting paid $50,000 US isn't going to pay anything. Right. LA alone is like so expensive. So I'm not saying that these players should be comfortable in their living arrangements and that they shouldn't have to worry about finances when they're playing in a sport, any women's sport and male sport. I feel like, how can these guys perform and excel in their craft if they're stressed about money?
Okay, I want a simple yes or no with this one. Trevor, I'll send it out to you first. I'll ask Nelly J. So LeBron's talking about buying the Atlanta Dream. They're obviously not a profitable organization. In 5 years, do you think LeBron makes a profit? Just a simple yes or no.
No.
10 years. In 10 years, do you think?
No. Can I say why?
Go ahead.
Of course.
I'll just give you one example.
Yes.
When Raptors brought in Vince Carter, what did Vince Carter do that put butts in the seats? As we talk about butts in the seats.
Yeah, be exciting player.
Dunks,
right?
Explosiveness.
You said it. Dunks.
Oh, dunks, right?
A large part of it.
Women are dunking now, bro. What are we talking about? I see girls dunking in high school, bro.
I did see that. I did see clips of one girl. I don't know if she's in high school.
A couple of them, not one. Quite a few of them dunking in high school, bro.
Dunking.
Like 5'10". They're not even tall.
What is the highlight of the All-Star game every year? It's the unfortunate reality that it's guys being able to dunk puts them on a different level in that sense.
So you're saying it's lacking excitement
for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be 5 years because I've actually been to WNBA games, and my brother came with me, and he was shocked. And he's like you, Trevor. He was like, "Oh, I'm like, yo, just come. It's a free ticket. Come with me." And he's like, yo, like he was so shocked at how good these women were. So I really think if LeBron has a team, the masses love LeBron. You know what I'm saying? LeBron will find creative ways to make it profitable. 5 years, yes.
5 years.
10 years, yes. If LeBron is the ownership, from when he starts, in 5 years he'll be profitable for sure. For sure. LeBron's name is money.
You said two key things. For LeBron to get people to attend games, he's gonna have to give away tickets for free, which is how you got those WNBA tickets, unfortunately.
No, because my friend played the coach for that team. He's a coach, so
sometimes they have to give literally. I'm certain.
And that's fine. Hey, that's fine. Give away free tickets, because I know I had to do marketing for Seattle Sonics back in the day, and I remember one of the strategies was to actually do like crazy ticket discounts and free tickets, because when people got there, they spent money on on like concession stands, stuff like that, and whatever. So that's one strategy of marketing. But I'm saying though, if LeBron is at games, hey, LeBron's going to be at half the games this year, like Drake, right? That people are going to come to those games. So my thing is that if LeBron's behind a team, LeBron, he puts his heart into everything. So like his other efforts and other projects, if LeBron's behind the NBA team, I think from when he starts in 5 years, they'll be profitable for sure. That's just my opinion.
All right. Let's go to SOS Clothing.
Custom. Yo, so Trevor, you are the founder and you have your own clothing line. So SOS Custom Clothing. It's Caribbean, soca influence type infused apparel, right?
Yes.
And so a couple questions for you. What does SOS stand for?
SOS stands for Straight Out of St. Kitts.
Oh, straight out of St. Kitts. And so like, can you kind of walk us through when did you start your clothing brand? Like, why did you start designing type of Caribbean infused, especially for Toronto? Because I think in Toronto, there isn't that many kind of like custom Black owned brands right now in the city. So I'm curious to know like your structure of your business and kind of like why did you start, designing your clothing line?
For me, it started out almost by accident where I was going to one of my friends' parties. I don't know if you ever met Kanya. He's also a guy that I grew up with in St. Kitts, but he's up here in Canada now. He's in Toronto. One of friends, but yeah, I was going to his house party, Christmas party, I think, and I knew there would be a large number of people from St. Kitts there. So I went to the mall and I'm like, I need to get a T-shirt that says "Keep Calm, I'm Kittian." And this is about 3 years ago. So I went to the mall, went to one of those kiosks. They have the T-shirts there. They press for you on the spot. And I'm like, okay, well, I need the shirt for like the party tonight, or I think the next day it was. And then I showed him the design. He pulled up on the internet, pressed it. I'm like, how much? He's like $35 plus tax. I'm like, for a T-shirt? And I was like, thank you very much. I need it for tomorrow, so you got my money. But from that point, and I wore the T-shirt to the party. Everyone loved it and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, where'd you get that T-shirt? Where'd you get the T-shirt? I'm like, if I can sell these to my friends, they're not going to pay $35, first of all. So I need to find a cheaper way. And that's literally how it started. The piggyback off of that, there was, at the time, Straight Outta Compton was popular. So I did a Straight Outta St. Kitts design. And I sold it to a whole bunch of people. Like, I did a Straight Outta St. Kitts design, got some pre-orders. I was selling them for like $10. I got a bulk order made, so it was cheaper for me. I didn't have a large markup on it. I actually went to like a boat ride. Wish we could go on those now, but we can't go on those anymore. But I actually went to a boat ride and I had like literally a car full of T-shirts that said Straight Outta St. Kitts, and it was a St. Kitts Association boat ride. And there were strangers just coming up to me buying shirts because they just want something that said St. Kitts on it. And then I did an Instagram starting to post pictures of Straight Outta St. Kitts. And then people were like, oh, do you have Jamaica? Do you have this? Do you have that? Then I started to do different designs for this, all the whole Straight Out of. And then since there, it's just piggyback from that, where people just want to wear their own stuff, something that represents their country.
That's so cool. I think it's fascinating because I think like in Toronto, like if you want something that is of Caribbean or African descent, there's nowhere to go for that. So I think it's cool that people now know SOS Custom Clothing brand got you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And a lot of I started to do Straight Out of St. Kitts, and I would do Straight Out of whatever people want. Is like, what country do you want? Like, I even did some Haiti. I did some. Funny enough, I did when Black Panther came out. I did tons and tons of Straight Out of Wakanda. Someone told me you should do Wakanda, and at the time I was like, "What is Wakanda?" Because I didn't know it yet. And I just did up a model Straight Out of Wakanda, and I sold so many of them because people just want to represent what's relevant. And the fact that I don't have I have a clothing line that you can do whatever you want. It's not like I have a certain design and you have to buy this. It's what you want. I'll do the design. How does it look? Okay, here you go. It's yours.
Wow. So I know Jomo went for Guyana still, right, Jomo? I already know he wants one.
That's the thing. The straight out of is kind of, I don't know, not as much people wear it as much now, but at the time it was more popular based on the straight out of content. And everyone wants to what I found, especially going to parties and events, everyone wants to represent their country. People from Caribbean descent, they want to represent their country. And I would do it for anyone, for any country in the world. Because I mean, it's just whatever you want to represent. And I had different clients would reach out to me for different things. I'm like, yeah, if I can do up a design and get it done for you, no problem. So like a Straight Out of Guyana, what I even started to do with countries like Jamaica and like Guyana, I would use the color from the flags and change the color of the text to the color from the flags because
So it's
people like to
customized.
customize it as well. Yeah,
That's dope,
Nice.
man.
it's like 100% custom. Whatever you want, I'll do it. You're willing to pay me what it costs for it. And a lot of stuff I did not with a significant markup because it was more about getting people stuff that they're happy, they're proud to wear because it's representing the country versus the profits. And now with time and building over, the profits will come. It's my kind of thing. If you build it, the profits will come.
Dope. Well, folks, support SOS Custom Clothing Brand. We're gonna have all the information, his website. Like I see, like you're selling masks as well and different things. So definitely check it out. Support our own. Simple.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right, Faheem, take it to That's Absurd.
Okay, that's absurd. So what we got for this week's That's Absurd involves two centers. One are retired, one inactive. It's so funny. Shaq's a funny guy, man. Shaq has come out. He's going after, I guess, Rudy Gobert is on his hit list. He's been at him on social media as a bit, but what got me, which makes me saying this is absurd, is he's calling Rudy Gobert, was it Baguette Biombo? Because you know Rudy Gobert is French.
He's French, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's French.
Baguette Biombo. And plus he's putting posts about, there's a post he put on Instagram about Shaq dunking on Rudy Gobert. Put a caption under it, pretty much saying, you know, what he would do in a comparison to what Rudy Gobert did is obviously photoshopped, but I have to say it's a little absurd that that Shaq's taking shots at Rudy Gobert, who seems to be an innocent bystander here. I mean, with that's absurd. What, anyone else here? Is this absurd?
Yeah, so like I actually want to quote Shaq. I want to see what he said. So he said, "I'm not gonna hate, but you are gonna hate Shaq. Sorry, but you are hating." Anyways, he says, "I'm not gonna hate, but this should be an inspiration to all the little kids out there. You average 11 points in the NBA, and you can get 200 million."
Yeah.
That's what he
said.
said.
How much was Tobias Harris average?
Exactly. Yeah. So this is my thing with Shaq, right? Is Shaq, he said, "I'm not going to hate," but Shaq, you're kind of hating because of course you're getting paid a lot of money because in the NBA this era, people are getting paid a lot of money than when Shaq was playing and Kobe back in the day. So I think it's a little kind of tingy that he's seeing these guys getting paid so much money and Shaq's like, "Yo, I wasn't even paid that much when I was playing," right? So, you know, as Faheem said, you know, maybe the inactiveness, maybe he's just idle, but Shaq is going after Rudy. And I must commend Rudy because he's like, "Yo, hey, I got $200 million. Shaq can create all he wants, but I'm still getting paid and I'm still playing ball." So the fact that Rudy is kind of dismissing it and I was giving attention, I respect Rudy for that even more. Because like, you know, what's the point of you beefing with Shaq? What's the point? Because what he'll do is create some diss track and create a hip hop song that Faheem will not like, and then what will happen, right? So I think it's absurd because I'm like, Shaq, you know, like I'm a fan of yours, but it's like I get it. It's tingy because you're seeing players not as good as you getting paid more than you, but the NBA has changed and so has its money, and that's it.
So going to the money aspect, Gobert's got over 200 million over multiple years.
Yes.
Real quick, Trevor, you're Utah's GM. Are you giving him that contract? Or are you going to let him go?
In terms of what Gobert offers, he's a unique, his skill set is unique in the sense that his size and length, there's probably only 2 or 3 other guys in the NBA that have it. And Utah wants him. They maybe like him, maybe not what he did earlier this year. They may not be too happy with that, but obviously they got over it because they paid him. And what he has and what he brings, there's not many of it in the NBA. Like when Shaq was in the NBA, the guys that Shaq will go against, there's not much of them can stop him, but only like a Yao Ming, for example. So in terms of Utah's GM, if the money's there, I'm going to pay him because he's going to go somewhere else and get it because he's a rim protector. He barely has to jump. Have you seen these guys like live and like a Utah game? He barely has to jump to protect the rim. So yes, he's getting paid 200 million, but if he stands up and puts his hands up, it's hard for you to make a shot.
Right.
And if you're not making a shot, then that's benefits the team.
Nelly J, same question to you.
If I'm the GM, yeah, I'm paying him because I think what Rudy does, it's just he's just such a unique player. Like, there's no one really like him in the NBA right now. Like, what he does as a GM, I want, because you can't find like there isn't 1,000 protectors like that everywhere in the NBA. Like, you have one of the elite protectors, elite defenders, nominee defensive player of the year. Like, this guy is a defensive presence, and having him on your team will do a lot for your offense, but also bring confidence on your defense too. So for me, I'm paying him. I'm sorry, I'm paying him. Like, I don't agree with Shaq. I think Shaq is caught up on the 11 points, but if Rudy had to score, he would, but he doesn't have to score. He has players around him that can score for him. Like, why was Rudy average more points to prove that he's a good player? Like, I don't think he needs to do that, to be honest.
If I'm the GM, I'm paying him. He's NBA All-Star, NBA second team, NBA third team twice, defensive player of the year twice. You know, like he's got caliber things that not everyone has. So I'm definitely paying him. I know the number sounds outrageous, but I like that he's taking the high road with this and not taking it personal. He's just going in and doing his job. So
the
he's
word
French, man. French people are gangster, yo. What's your friends?
What do you say? What do you say, Trevor?
The word I would use is intangible.
Right.
I'm using an analogy that's not really close to Rudy Gobert, has anything to do with it. But I remember seeing a picture of Anthony Davis standing next to Boban. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Boban. Yeah, right.
Boban. And Boban is standing up, has his arms stretched up in the air with the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis is jumping and trying to reach it. Like, imagine that. Anthony Davis is jumping and can't reach the ball that's in this other player's hand. So that intangible that Rudy Gobert has, if I get the ball in my fingertips and I keep my hands up, you're not getting it. And then I just have to put it in the basket.
Right.
So that's an intangible that a lot of guys in the NBA don't have. And it's probably one of the reasons why a lot of teams are using Boban, because you just stand there, put your hands up, you probably blocking the rim, and it's harder for a guy to make a shot when he can't see the rim.
Yeah. Boban is a presence. So
it's a presence, that intangible presence.
Shaq's got to put some respect on Gobert's name.
Mind you, Shaq is a marketing genius, by the way.
I know he is. Listen, Shaq has been on this for sure. Probably can create some kind of like song with him rapping.
All right.
Who knows?
The key with him is that he's picking on a center. What he does, he only picks on guys in his position. He doesn't really he won't pick on a Steph Curry because he can't compare himself to a Steph Curry. Right. But he will pick on guys that play the same position as him.
Right. All right. So that's episode 21. Let's put it in the books.
Episode 21. So y'all, on the way out, we want to give our amazing guest, Trevor, a chance to do a shout out. So Trevor, what you want to shout out today, bro?
The floor is yours, Trevor.
In terms of shout outs, I would just say, if you're watching this, definitely follow me on Instagram, SOS_custom_clothing. Take a look at what I have. There's some stuff there that I don't even post because a lot of people just DM me, do you do this? Do you offer this? There's a lot of custom stuff I do that I don't necessarily post, but I try to post as much as what I offer so you get an idea. One shout out I have is one of my main clients right now is actually Skinny Fabulous. There's a Instagram shop, Skinny Fabulous. I'm actually managing that Instagram as well as doing the merchandise for him. So that's currently one of my biggest clients. So anything to do with the Skinny Fabulous merchandise currently, it's me behind the scenes. Nice. So that would be my shout out. Shout out to Skinny Fabulous for working with me. He did some interviews where he's happy with the product, and he's happy with. I speak with him almost on a weekly basis, and he's happy with the product and what I was able to collaborate with him on. The key thing of what I do is a lot of people present me with their designs, and I just kind of make it happen and put it together and get it out there to the customers.
Nice. So Trevor, respect.
So if you know anyone that has a clothing brand or has a design idea that they want to get out there, I help them get out there, and I do it for free.
Wow.
Dope. Trevor, you put the word custom in SOS custom clothing because I like the fact that you're customizing it. So respect, big up, and we're glad that you came through tonight.
Funny enough, with that word, people still come to me and they're like, "Oh, do you do custom designs?" And I'm like, I usually just, yeah, I do, because I don't
My name.
but I get it. I probably got it maybe 100 times. Do you do custom designs?
Right.
I put in the name on for that purpose, and you mentioned it. I put in the name for that purpose to let people know, like, I'm not trying to push my brand on you.
Right.
Let me know what you want, and I'll get it done.
Nice.
That's so dope.
Nelly J, any shout outs on the way out?
I have a quick shout out to Trevor. Thank you for jumping on the podcast. We appreciate you, bro. Shout out to everyone making it happen 2021. It's a week, we're a week down, and just keep grinding, keep at it, stay positive. And I want to do a big shout out to my homegirl. I don't know her, but I'll call her homegirl. Her name is Bianca Smith. Okay. She joined the Boston Red Sox as the first Black woman to coach in professional baseball history. Okay.
Right.
So Bianca, big up yourself, girl. Like just congrats. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. And that's a good way to end this episode. Okay. So here we are, episode 21, Good Rookies Podcast. Trevor, thanks for coming out once again.
Thanks, guys.
Google, Spotify, everywhere you want to get a podcast, any podcast app, we are there for you.
Thanks, guys. Please share with a friend and subscribe before you go.
Share with a friend.
Leave that subscribe button.
That's right. Good Rookies Podcast, and we out. Peace.
Peace.